All right, we're doing this thing called podcasting that all the kids are doing. I have in the building today my boy Christian Jones. He's the founder of Elation, which throws all the good old trance events out here recently. And I'm more than excited because trance is my favorite genre, so we get to dive in. Christian, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, man. It's good to get out of my house during this whole situation that I know we're all just kind of struggling with. So it's nice to be around another human.
It's kind of how I feel too. And now that Vegas is starting to open up a little bit, you kind of get to see a little bit more glimpses. But I think the events seem to be phase 4 from what I've heard, even though Sislak won't specifically say it. I think we're all kind of see that happening, even though everyone wants to go.
Right. Yeah, I was yesterday was kind of dismayed a little bit when he said that we're basically stuck in phase 2 with no definitive date as to when phase 3 would be a thing. I mean, I definitely understand I definitely understand his thought process behind it. I just kind of wish we weren't there.
Yeah, we need it. Vegas needs it. Everyone needs it. Let's hope EDC can actually happen.
That would be a godsend at this point because I'll take any music.
Let Vegas trance again. All right, and so before we dive into that, let's get your backstory and some context. So let everyone know who you are, your relationship to Vegas, and kind of leading up to Elation.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Vegas, and I've been here all the way to the end of high school. Went in the military, and then I came back. And everything from when I got back was basically, it was all bass music. And I didn't get a whole lot of the stuff that I wanted to listen to. My dad raised me on trance music from when I was a kid.
Really? Yeah, your dad's an old school trance fan?
Dude, he sends me more music than I send him.
Dude, that is amazing.
It's actually a pretty cool relationship we have. He comes to all of my shows. Whatever. I mean, he might fangirl harder than I do.
We need to get him a Trance Dad shirt.
He needs it. And then I moved to Austin for a little bit. And then I moved back after about a year, and I'd gone to some decent small events out there, and it kind of sparked the idea in my head. And then my partner that I have now, he had a company in the city already that was kind of on the downfall, and him and I had been, friends for a long time. So we thought, why don't we just start putting on music events, and we'll just kind of see where it goes, and we'll start with trance. And obviously, trance isn't a super established genre, at least it is just not in Las Vegas because it's never been here. Mm-hmm. It has, but it's been local shows. So we just started out, and we ended up hammering out 24 shows last year.
Damn, putting work in
back to back until we got the following we need, and actually the community's grown a lot, and I'm really proud of where we're at now.
The trance community is so tight knit, especially I've been to Dream State 3 times. I went to the first one, and the one thing I really enjoyed about trance festivals is everyone gives each other space.
It's definitely a different concept when you go to a trance show, I feel like, versus like a bass show. Not that I don't respect the bass scene, because there's definitely some bass music that I can get down to, but trance resonates with me, and the people that go to trance festivals, music events, etc., they resonate with me. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a very family feeling thing, rather than, you know what I mean? I'm down to kick some rails down too. You know what I mean? But most of the times, you know what I mean? I'm the guy in the back, just grooving, you know what I mean? Feeling myself. So.
It's less like party, get fucked up, right. Flipping over tables.
Right. You know what I mean? If there's a table there, but
no table goes unflipped.
No, I mean, I feel like that wouldn't be just, man.
So hold on, I'm interested. You said you served for 3 years?
I served for 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Did you do a tour?
I did a tour. Yeah, I did a tour to Iraq.
Salute you on that.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Did you bring trance out there as well?
Actually, yeah, I have some interesting videos of me spinning poi, dude, in Iraq. So yeah, I took it all. Trance was a huge thing that helped me get through a lot of the turmoil that I went through out there. So yeah, music was a staple in that. And honestly, going through all of that, and I lost a couple of friends out there and everything. The actual rave scene, and the environment of it helped me get through a lot of the issues that I came back with and helped me develop into the person that I am now.
You know, I actually have a few friends who are veterans and served and did a tour and actually came back and got heavily involved in the rave scene. And a few actually started like different rave companies as well. One was like a watch that called Watch Me Rave. And it was like a little,
That's
like,
super cool.
glowing one.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. Yes. His name's Gil Hayen. I was going to bring him on one day down the road, but, yeah, that was over 5 years ago. I was still in college.
I think I caught wind of that.
It's an interesting dynamic, I guess, just like you were saying, because of all the crazy stuff that happens over there that a normal person doesn't, and that the music just helps you flow
Definitely.
a lot easier, feel a little bit more easy and family. And totally. I know from what veterans say that sometimes it's hard to get acclimated to the regular civilian life, as they say it.
It is extremely hard, and I feel like your just everyday environment and people, they're not as accepting, I guess, as the rave culture is. You know what I mean? Like the rave culture, like I think we all accept that we're all a little bit weird. You know what I mean? We're all weird in one way or another.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a very home feeling to just bring my weirdness in there, you know what I mean? And they kind of, the scene itself kind of helped me hone my weirdness into something that was a little bit more creative and ultimately made me a better person.
Interesting. What kind of shows did you go to when you first got back?
When I first got back, when I first got back from Iraq, I was still, or here or in Iraq, or just the States in general? Or,
yeah, just in the States.
Yeah. When I first got back, I went to this. It was a Cottonmouth King Cypress Hill Tech 9 show.
Complete left field.
It was wild, to say the least. And it was in Kansas City, which is Tech 9's home. So he went off like the chain with it. It was cool. The rave scene is super underdeveloped in Kansas.
I could only imagine.
Yeah, especially for the kind of music that I would like to listen to. I did end up going to this paint party when I was out there.
A Life in Color thing?
Exactly. I think this is when they were first getting their wheels rolling, and you could definitely see that they were still spinning their wheels. So overall, it was cool though. It was kind of cool to get back into something, I guess.
Yeah, that is cool. And like you said, was there ever an idea that you wanted to start anything outside of trance before you founded Elation?
You know what? I don't really think so. Not in this, not in like a rave sense, I guess. When I moved to Austin, I went to all those smaller shows, and it kind of like when I got back, I realized that kind of like what Vegas was missing when it came to the music scene. And it was really everything that I wanted. Like, I feel like even, like not just, I mean, even with trance, and then obviously we moved into techno a lot as well, because we do have another local promoter that puts on techno, but it's only during the weekdays. And I don't know, I just personally don't stay up till 4 a.m. on Tuesdays anymore. You know what I mean? As I get older, I'm like, so we kind of branched into that too.
Yeah, they seem to go synonymous. Maybe it's just because they're the two oldest genres in electronic music that was founded, and there's not much lyrics that go into it. It's just
totally.
I don't produce any music or DJ, but I know you typically like 4 loops of different beats or variances or whatever the fuck it's called.
I mean, just based off of our ticket buyers, and I try to stay heavily involved in people that come to our show. Like I take the time out every show to like walk around, and you know what I mean. I don't tell people who I am. You know what I mean. I try to be the face of my company, but I get everybody's feedback on, you know, what do you think? How can, you know what I mean? How can the show improve? Like, what would you change, etc. You know what I mean? So I can deliver a better package next time that it comes around. But yeah, it's between the techno and the trance. I see a lot of the same faces, which is awesome because that's, you know what I mean? That's the people, that's the crowd and the people that I love because they come out to support us.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can be one of those faces as long as the nightclubs don't open up for Elation, or once this grows larger, I can just do this and come hang out all the time.
I'm honestly hoping for the latter.
I would, yeah.
Dude, for you, man, I want you to succeed with this. It's honestly a very cool concept.
I appreciate that. So let's go into the beginning days of Elation. Let's go into, was there a moment that you could think of going back that you decided of a do or die moment that you were doing this, you're building Elation, or was it some sort of culmination between different people kind of pitching the idea to you?
I think that when we first set out to do it, at that point it was like, this is happening or it's not happening. So, I mean, I quit the job that I was gonna take when I moved back, just so I had all the time to give the company the love that it needs and the attention that it needs, so I can do everything, because my partner's still working, so he isn't necessarily available all the time, and business doesn't stop just because you're not available. So I took it upon myself to take a 60% pay cut to make this happen. So I guess at that point when I made that decision, it's gonna work.
Do or die. You have to.
It has to work.
You have to take that leap of faith,
right?
All the time.
And after that, I mean, it just came back to dumping, you know what I mean, every cent that I had and made into the company to into the next show and the next show and the next show and the next show. And my partner did the same. You know what I mean? Like last year was, it turned out to be a really good year. But yeah, I guess there was a couple of times when we were like, wow, I don't even know what's going on.
There's a lot of growing pains and a lot of unexpected turns that are with businesses. And something I learned just through my previous 2 different business ventures is it's not typically the events that itself that it's tough. It's managing the people that either you're personally dealing with or that come to your events, and it's almost like you have to come in and just fix everything.
Right. So yeah, it's at the beginning. Yeah, we've always built our own stages. Like we've never paid anybody to do it.
Really? You hands-on?
Yeah. So yeah, we're the ones that, build the sound and the lasers and the lights and everything like that. We've always taken, you know what I mean, that extra amount of time to try to learn the trade along with putting on the shows. So we're not reliant, I guess, on anybody else. And that's where a lot of the challenges came from too. Because there's a lot of, before this, I didn't know anything about lasers or or any of that. So I mean, it was, you know what I mean? I'm trying to, I'm trying to do the best I can with, verbal guidance in the YouTube Academy.
Yeah, University YouTube, man. Exactly. That's why I've learned literally everything for this podcast is off of YouTube.
Exactly. I'm like, God, I don't want to fry any of this stuff. It's too expensive.
Dude, it's the beginning stages of a business are so tough. I remember when I had started my first business, it was an antique store. I had to go to the business office, I kid you not, like 10 times in a week, just for like different things that were missed on the paperwork that I had no idea, and zone variances and all these like different fucking counties that are and areas that are within Vegas and zoning. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, dude, that's definitely a stress that I understand. I mean, because obviously we have the city of Las Vegas, and then we have Clark County.
Mm-hmm. Then there's like unincorporated, which is the Strip, which is Paradise, Nevada.
We have to get licensing and we have to get business licensing, and a promoter's license for each county and city. I'm like, they're right next to each other.
You're like, what is happening?
I'm like, oh, you're a mile apart. How is this not valid?
Fucking tax regulations.
Dude, yeah, well, and then dude. Everybody wants a piece of our pie.
Everyone wants a piece, that's for sure. And I'm curious, what's the meaning behind Elation?
So Elation, I guess we went off of trance, and just like the feeling that it gives you a feeling of elation, or you feel elated, You know what I mean?
What's that mean? What's elated mean?
To feel, it's kind of like on top of the world, or like
like an in the clouds kind of feeling.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a great way to describe trance music. And you notice of all trance companies, they kind of go for that same area. Like Insomniac is Dream State.
Right.
That's theirs. What's the other one? State of Trance is Armin's. But Above and Beyond, obviously, like Anjuna Beats, they're all in that same like clouds because that's the feeling that it gives you.
Yep, exactly. So that's kind of what we went through. I'm excited that I would say next month we're going to be launching a new brand.
Like a subsidiary kind of?
Yeah.
Not changing the whole thing?
Nope.
Okay.
No, Elation will continue. And then we're going to launch a new brand with a new concept next month. I can't say too much about it yet, but we're excited to get that ball rolling.
Big things coming, guys. You heard it here first.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's going to be, we're looking at doing, I don't know, probably maybe four times the shows that we've been doing.
Dude, put me in. I need something to do on the weekends now.
I can do it.
I need it. Although now I was working nightlife and now I go to bed at like 11. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm in by 10. I'm like, dude, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
Like, we had a show with Victor Calderon and Leighton Giordani back in December.
It's tech duo, right?
Yeah. And it took us maybe 36 hours to build the stage, and we had to break down the stage right after the show. So I got in I went to bed at 4 a.m. the day of the show, and I was back in to build the rest of the stage the day of, and I didn't leave until 1 p.m. the next day after cleaning up the gear. I was like a zombie, and here I am going to bed at like 10 p.m. now. I'm like, dude, I'm not ready for this.
That's exactly how I feel too. I'm like, I'm gonna have to like wake up the day before off like 2 hours of sleep to kind of program myself. Then I'm gonna have to chug some energy drinks or a lot of coffee to force myself awake and do that for like a week.
Seriously,
until you can get back into the loop.
I know it's going to be interesting.
Back into the Vegas cycle. I call it the vicious Vegas cycle. People don't realize it.
Oh, dude, no, seriously, they don't. It's its own monster here.
So how did the first event go? Obviously, you said you built the stage. There was the troubles with the zoning variances, and you had to go through all of this. How was the first event, and what can you describe the first event?
Yeah, the first event was it was cool. Stressful. It was kind of like I just stepped into a situation that I had no idea what I was doing. I did my best to pretend that I did. You know what I mean? Big smiles on my face, but inside, I'm like sweating bullets. I was just afraid that enough people weren't going to show that. You know what I mean? It would be demoralizing. You know what I mean? To the fact of, hey, maybe this isn't here. But dude, it did not turn out that way. It was not, I mean, it wasn't this super massive smashing banger show, you know what I mean? But it was, we had like 170 people show up.
It's a good show up for a first event.
Yeah, it was cool. Too. Yeah, exactly. And it's a very it's a very underdeveloped genre here, and nobody knew who we were. So just based on that, and not being able to do proper marketing on social media because we don't have it, you know what I mean? We don't have the data to try to do something like that. I'm very proud of the way it turned out, and it was cool, man. We had out Adam Ellis. He's a smaller trance DJ from the UK.
Interesting. How did you approach him?
So not last year, the year before, 2018 at Dream State, I met one of the guys on the team. His name is Marius, and he was his agent. Okay. And he was just getting started with Dream State, I believe, and he is their guy for Europe. And I actually told him then, I was like, listen, I want to do a Dream State in Las Vegas. And he was like, okay, I mean, I guess we'll see. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see if that's, feasible. So yeah, in the meantime, we got Adam, and then, he came out, dude. And, we had just, the typical, CDJ setup, dude, just on a on the table, dude. I didn't realize dude is like 6'7". You know what I mean? So
Did you build it too small?
no, dude, he looks like Lurch, dude. Like bent over this booth. I felt so bad, man. You know what I mean? Just like I was like, damn it, dude. And he looks like he's playing with like Tonka toys, dude. So yeah, no, it was too short. I felt really bad about that. Nobody had warned me about quite how tall he was, but ever since then, I've always asked. It was definitely a learning thing. I'm like, so how tall is he?
We're only taking 6'7" and shorter from now on.
Right, exactly. So and it's funny. I'm surprised it wasn't on his rider, because a lot of them, like when we had Menno de Jong out, it's on his rider that the DJ booth must be, you know, set amount of inches high. Otherwise, you know what I mean? The dude, it ain't working. Because he's another one that's 6'8" or something. He's a large man.
You know, maybe Adam's agent was just kind of running blind, kind of how you were at the first event. He's like, "Fuck, that's a learning curve for myself too."
Gosh, dude, yeah, it was cool. Like we had people from his agency come out, because a lot of them are local. So it was cool, man. It was a lot of fun. They got they did like an Airbnb out here, and he set up classes to do like production classes out here. Really, he did like a 3-day workshop before his actual show.
Oh, that's cool. And it was tied into the show.
Yeah, that was something that he took upon himself to do. But I think it turned out really well for him.
That is good. That is really cool. That's to set yourself apart from these different companies. You have to do like more interactive things that sometimes aren't even necessarily at the event, but make people feel included,
right,
to come out more.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we try to, we try to do things that do set us apart from other companies. I mean, like we'll spend, you know what I mean, a little extra money to make that experience that much better when we don't really have to. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's about the long term here and not about the short term goal of, you know what I mean? We save, you know, $5,000.
Yeah. It's all about building the community.
Exactly.
And you have to put the extra money in. You have to make people feel that sense of elation, like you're saying,
exactly.
in the clouds.
Exactly.
And I think too, starting a trance company out here is interesting, but you guys are in a good lane, because there's not many trance DJs on the strip that have residency clauses. So you almost have like free picking outside of like I think Armin has a residency He's supposed to go back to Omnia.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
Thanks for the update.
Supposedly,
right,
the rumors fly out.
Sure.
Andrew Rail played Marquee.
Right.
I don't know if A&B has Above and Beyond has a residency again or not.
No, they were, because they were at Chaos, and then I know that
left.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that.
All right, R.I.P. I made a joke. Sorry to knock on Chaos, but I was like, if Chaos would have lasted another 4 months, then they could have blamed coronavirus.
Sure, exactly. No, yeah, 100%.
All right, R.I.P. to all the fallen people out there.
For real though.
I went once to see Dead Mouse, because Dead Mouse is like my favorite artist.
Dead Mouse is dude. Yeah, I literally was listening to Strobe when I
yes.
parked my car.
I've seen Dead Mouse probably like 8 or 9 times.
He's definitely a king, dude.
When I went to Ultra in 2016, I saw both of his shows, and then I went and saw him come on at Night Party. I was like, I can't get not enough of him.
It's good, dude. I saw him last year for the first time in a while. I went to his Cube too. Cube V2.
The one out in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to that one too.
Yeah, a couple of years. What was that, 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was great. And then I saw him again last year at EDC, and it was so good, dude. Oh my God, dude.
I missed that one. You guys had a Mousetrap person on one of your shows. I saw Matt Lange.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. Matt was that was a cool show. We had him, Jody Wisternoff, and 16-bit Lolitas. That was cool. It was our first pool party, and
where was that at?
It was at the Downtown Grand.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really neat. We had a few more of those planned this year, but
dude, I love me a pool party. I worked at a pool before Omni. I worked at a pool for 5 years, and the atmosphere is definitely a lot more cheery.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's if I had a choice, I would I would never go to a nightclub again. I would stay at the day clubs.
Yeah.
Or just any pool party in general. I like the vibes a lot better. And you know what I mean?
And the Grand too, downtown, you're going to get a lot more locals in, and it's
Right.
more of your community. It's less of the strip, just like
Right.
random tourists coming
Exactly.
by. And so you feel more the sense of like love and community
Right.
than it's just like
And
the
that's-
strip people trying to come in, just get fucked up and pick up
dude, I
girls.
know, exactly. Oh my God, dude, take that shit elsewhere. For real. I mean, yeah, we try to keep it organic to the city if we can. Because sometimes just the vibes that come in from outside sources are not exactly the best.
Yeah, it's not what you want.
Nothing
for it.
against them. It's just not that kind of party.
I've noticed too, the trance crowd, at least at Dreamstay, it's a little bit older than your typical trap or even
It
house.
is definitely our average ticket buyer, I think, is 33.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely the
Yeah.
oldest.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch because I'm like, geez, that's wild. So we've kept all of our events, almost all of our events, besides the pool party, 21 and up. I think we're gonna talk about going into 18 and 18 up. There was a little typo on our last show on the Insomniac website that said 18 plus when it was 21 up.
A lot of confusion.
So yeah, there was a lot of kids showing up, dude, in full rave gear that probably already took whatever on their way, dude. You know what I mean? Looking at me, chewing on their mouths, asking me, are they sure that they can't, or that they can't come in? I'm like, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, you can't, but I mean, overall, like, it was a lot to deal with it that night because it was a very busy night for me and I was kind of all over the place anyway. But I feel like it's going to be, it kind of gave me an insight as to, that there are, the younger crowd that do want to come out. So that kind of gave me the idea that maybe we should branch out a little bit because there was a decent amount of people that were under 21 that showed up and dude, they wanted to listen to trance, man.
Yeah, they start to branch out. That's kind of the taste that I've noticed is like people usually start out with your big room house and
Right.
your pop EDM. Then you do that for like a year or two. Like the first two EDCs, I think 90% of the sets was like Martin Garrix and Calvin
Right,
and Cascade and all these big people.
Right.
And then I'm like, fuck, I need to try something different. So then you go over to like trap and because you know hip hop and
Sure.
that's like tight in. Then you
Right.
do dubstep. And then at the very end, once you're like 5 years into it
Right.
and you're tired of jumping up and down for an hour,
You're right.
you're
My
like,
knees hurt.
I need something that I could groove to and get a
Right.
little emotional to.
Totally.
And then people end up with like trance and techno towards the end.
Absolutely. It's really is it's the like end journey. You know what I mean? But I've done it too. Like, I mean, obviously my dad raised me on trance, but I did like, I don't know. I mean, I still like bass music, but I definitely liked it a lot more in the past. It was just, I don't know. Now I'm just like, no,
Yeah,
I just want to chill, man. You know what I mean? I just want to relax and vibe out. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's an age thing too.
100%. It's like when you could sit on the rail and camp for 4 hours without having to eat or pee. just exert all energy.
Exactly.
Now every like 30 minutes, you're like, fuck, I'm out of water.
Yeah,
I have to go to the bathroom.
I know exactly what happened. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. It's for real, dude. It's crazy.
That's like when you go to Dream State. So Dream State, for those who don't know, Dream State is the trance label for Insomniac. Insomniac who throws EDC. They do at EDC. It's designed that each stage is their different genre label. And so every year, Thanksgiving weekend, they throw Dream State down in LA. It started out as just one stage. Now it's like, and it was 2 days. Now it's 2 days and like 5 stages or 4 stages. And now I just pretty much hang out at the Psytrance the entire time.
Yeah. This last year was fun. They really went all out with those stages, man. I mean,
It's very they get the thing I like about trance too is it's not just the music, is they put so much emphasis on the visuals and like the psychedelic feels. And they had the last time I went was, I think it was 2 years ago. They had like this 3D holographic setup at the Psytrance stage. And
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, it was I remember you're talking about the hologram, dude.
Yeah, the hologram ones.
Dude,
that was the last time I went.
I was in there for Alpha Portal. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, this is crazy. Seriously, like I'm in another dimension, dude. In this building, was it in the building?
It's in the building.
Yes,
yeah.
Dude, yeah. I remember that. That was wild.
That's why it's really probably more of the reason why I like trance is you get sucked into the visuals, which then makes you think. There's times where I literally like stop dancing and I'm just like staring and thinking.
I know.
Having like really introspective thoughts. And that's everyone has that exact same scenario.
I feel like trance is by far the most intricate of genres. I mean, there's so many different sounds and there's so many different kinds of trance that it's kind of mind-blowing that it's still trance. Like psytrance sounds nothing like progressive trance. You would not even think that is the same genre. So it's kind of interesting to see the different spectrums that it can hit.
Yeah, actually, trance gets like a bad name because everyone associates it with like the lovey-dovey.
Yeah, they're like, I don't listen to that frilly dilly shit. I'm like, it's not. I'm like, yo, if you listen to like tech trance or like, you know what I mean, or whatever, dude. Like trance goes hard as fuck.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like a faster beat. Once you get into psytrance, it's like 135 BPM and up, and house music's 128, so it's a little bit faster. And like you said, you start listening to it, and you're like, what? This is not anything that I expected. Like There's nothing about love in here.
No, exactly. I'm like, dude, this is straight raw, grimy
beats.
BPM, dude. Yeah, dude, for real. Especially when I get up to like 145 BPM, I'm like, okay, we're moving.
Yeah, you have to be conscious to take breaks too.
Oh, totally.
Because it sets the rhythm of your heart rate off.
Oh, absolutely.
That's like at hardstyle events. I know hardstyle could get up to it's like 180 BPM or 200.
Like hardcore, dude.
They have people that I think it's called DEF CON, which is the 3-day festival in it was Australia.
Yeah, DEF CON 1.
Yeah, DEF CON 1. They have people die every year because your heart beats faster with the music. You know, if it's going 180 BPM, like that's like almost that's like double what your resting one is. Right. So people, you know, they take drugs and they're just not cognizant of how hard their body's working and they pass out. So you have to be really aware of it because it could get dangerous, but it's just so much fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, that's why you have good rave mates.
I wonder if that's why the community is so close knit, because I noticed when I'm at trance festivals, because I haven't been to a single trance show individual yet, but I will. But trance festivals, people are really open to just like, you know, sharing water with you and just like open conversations and like checking on you if you're okay and space, and they're not throwing elbows anywhere.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I've yet to get hit with an elbow at a trance stage. Thank God. Yeah, dude. I remember one year I was at Dream State and I was just chilling on the floor and this random dude. I don't even know. I think everybody else that was with him too, he had just plucked off of the floor somewhere. But he came by and he was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I was like, "Just hanging out." He goes, "Dude, come hang out with us." I'm like, "All right." I mean, yeah, fuck it, why not? I ended up hanging out with that group the entire night and then hanging out with them into the next week. I ended up staying out in California. We all ended up hanging out for like the next 2 or 3 days and going to the beach and all that. So yeah, it's I try to explain to my family members the mentality of raving, and it's like the fact that you just met somebody and you like I don't know, dude, like I've gone to festivals. Like we met this really cool couple at the Euphoria Fest, dude, up in Canada. And dude, I mean, they ended up coming and staying with us at our Airbnb, dude, last year or the year before, dude, for Dream State. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's weird. It's definitely it's just so cool how close knit it is. It's like, I don't have to know everything about you, but I know that I like you. So we should go to this festival together.
Yeah, actually, I'm going on to a podcast in a few weeks, and the podcast is focused around first time experiences. And the topic that I decided was my first time going to a rave, which is EDC 12.
Right.
And just like how music festivals is one of the biggest like life-changing experiences that I had. I always say my top 3 is like doing football when I was younger for health reasons, joining fraternity in college for socializing reasons,
Right.
and Omnia for financial reasons. But I always put raving around 4th because it's like a freeing feeling of like how to be yourself. And the thing about raving in general and going to festivals is people go to music festivals to quote unquote escape reality.
Right.
But it really mimics reality in so many ways. It's just like, cause you go down there with your friends, right? And you're there to hang out with them, just like anything else you do in real life. You go down there, hang out with them, and then there's always a million different things that go wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Or you have to play caretaker, you have to go get food, maybe you have to go to the medical tent, you know, you have to fucking escort someone into an Uber to go home.
Totally.
Like, there's so many different things that mimic reality in a festival, but it's something that you can't get in reality is the music and the sense of like companionship and camaraderie at all these festivals. And so,
especially with people that you just met 30 seconds ago. You know what I mean? I don't know, dude. It's when I just think about all the random adventures I've gone on with people that I don't even know. You know what I mean? It's honestly, where else are you going to find that? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's like, I'm not hanging out with anybody else right off the street.
I always tell people I'd rather pay $400 and go to a festival than fucking drop $400 and go to a concert for a few hours.
Absolutely.
And this is like 3 days, different musics. You know, averages out to like maybe $15 an hour.
Right.
When you're spending everything.
Worth every penny.
Yeah. And there's so much more than just the entertainment that comes from it. I think the candy thing has like died down a lot since when I first went in 2012.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. I mean, it's, you rarely will catch me with candy on my wrist every once in a while. I have this one that's, I don't know. It's probably my favorite one. It was red and white, and it has these red and white mushrooms on them, and it says nom nom nom. That's probably the one that I'll wear the most, just for nostalgia, I guess. But I usually do take my gloves with me still to this day.
Are you a glover?
Yeah.
All right. So first, so those I know, gloving is it's the 2 gloves and it has the LEDs at every fingertip. And you see it from the most stereotypical videos of it's somebody on the ground who's not sober, eyes rolling into the back, melting, and you have somebody in front of them just doing weird tricks with their fingers. And it's such a cool niche within the raving industry that it's literally its own industry now. There's like gloving championships and all kinds of different.
Yeah. Gosh, dude, what's the company called? Amazing Lights. Mm-hmm. They ended up on Shark Tank, and Shark Tank endorsed them. So, I mean, they're worth multi-millions of dollars. We're talking about we're talking about lights on your fingers. So, I mean, it's insane the way it's grown. Cause I know now, they have, like the lights on your fingers, it has, you know what I mean? Like so many different modes, and it's like, I don't know, so many different colors, you know what I mean? You could set it up and you customize everything. I mean, I've got an app on my phone now that I can change my modes and my lights and all that, which is insane. Crazy. Cause back in the day, like when I started raving in like 2008, dude, like glovers used to carry like keychains, like big ass keychains with different lights on them for different colors. like you would have to make your gloves and colors and sets light by light and how you wanted it to look. So it's just insane to me how it's progressed.
So do you allow gloves into Elation shows? Yeah,
we try to keep it as rave organic as possible. We want to keep it to where, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like you're in. We want it to feel like an escape, like, you know what I mean? Like, any kind of flow toys, anything like that, rave gear, basically dress how you want. You know what I mean? If you want to come in pasties, come in pasties. It's cool with me, dude. You know what I mean?
The pasty culture is very out in the open. You didn't see it as much, but now I think people do it more just for the Instagram picture.
I see guys wearing pasties. You know what I mean? You'll always see the random dude with a nice pasty. I'm like, all right, I see you.
doing it for the vine.
That's it, man. That's it.
It's interesting. I like the different flow arts that have came into fruition too. When I went to Electric Forest, I saw a bunch of people creating their own different flow arts. Like when I first went in 2012, it was pretty much like gloves. I think poi was popular. That's the one that's like on the string that swings around with the little LED. And the hula hoop was like the basic three.
The hoops, man.
Yeah.
And now I see people with like 3 hula hoops. I'm like, what the hell is going on? That's crazy.
The hula hoops. Now there's like a LED whip that I see. Like that's pretty popular. There's like a few other weird ones as well. But
yeah, the whip is growing really fast. Dude, I see those things more often than not. I went to a trance show for my birthday right before it all got shut down. It was a pure trance show in LA. It was Lossley, Solarstone, and Dan Stone, I believe. And this girl, it's called a pixel whip. This girl had her pixel whip, man, and she kept smacking me on the back of my neck, dude, with this thing. I'm like, I love it, but it hurts.
Yeah, I've never taken one. I actually bought gloves a few years ago to try to glove and to practice it, and I gave up after like a few days. I was like, dude, this is way too hard. This is way too complex. I can't get my fingers to do it.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot that goes into it. It's so much practice. I mean, especially being like an adult. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like now, like if I wanted to start gloving now, there's no way. You know what I mean? Like I'm still piggybacking off of like when all I did was rave. So you know what I mean? It's like if I've learned anything new, I'm still like, 2012, dude, with my moves.
That's funny. So when was the first dream state that you went to?
I've gone to every single one since the beginning.
Okay. Yeah. Was Dream State an influence on the creation of Elation?
I think that Dream State gave us the idea that it's possible. Watching trance grow in the way that it did, yeah, I think it gave us the idea that if they can do it, we can do it. Even though obviously Insomniac's massive. But on a much smaller scale, I think that, it gave us the inspiration to do something like that.
And you even partnered with them recently. I saw it was like a satellite series, correct?
Yeah. So we did a satellite series last September. And we did it the same weekend as Life is Beautiful and iHeartRadio. And we still almost sold out the show. Yeah.
Wow, dude. Congratulations on that. I know for a long time that Insomniac didn't like partnering with outside companies. I saw they've like recently changed a little bit, more specifically in Vegas, but to have that partnership is huge.
Yeah, it's a really proud moment of ours. And then we partnered up with them again for the last show that we did in February before everything came crashing down. We did a sequence series, so to basically emulate the sequence stage, which is the psytrance stage at Dream State.
Yes, 100%. Sire Die. Actually, my group, we made Sire Die shirts 1 year, and then another one was like, "You can't sigh with us." Like,
that's awesome. With us. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, die hard in it. But I have expanded a little bit more into the progressive because it can't just do Psy 24 hours. No. I would love to.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, tough. I'm with you. Yeah, there's a lot of good Psy out there. I think Psy is probably the most established of the trance genres in Las Vegas. There's been other like local promoters that have put on local shows for the last years. You know what I mean? I guess they never expounded upon that and tried to like do something more with it. But yeah, Psy all day it's just a lot.
It's becoming a lot more popular too. Before Omnia closed down, I noticed a lot of the mainstream DJs started putting it in their set. Steve Aoki started playing a bunch, Nervo, even Zed, and I was like, all right, I think this is what's trending now.
Right,
that's how I could usually tell. And then like tech is becoming popular too. Calvin literally plays like half his sets like techno now.
Dude, oh man, his new alias, dude, for techno it's so damn good. Dude.
You like it?
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, I've been going through some of its music and I'm like, I can't even believe this is Calvin Harris, but it's fucking good.
Dude, it's cool. So last year in the summer, he spent, since he had a restrict residency with Omnia.
Right. They get him exclusivity, right?
Exclusive. Yeah. He didn't even like really play at Hakkasan that much. It was like just Omnia. And halfway through the summer last year, he went down to Ibiza for like 3 months and tried a new techno set. But during his sets at Omnia, he would play all the DJs at the nightclubs. They have a 2-hour contract. They play for 2 hours, their set, but then he would stay for another hour and just like spin all this like different techno. And you could tell he's like practicing.
Sure.
He would literally stay till there's like 3 people on the dance floor. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? We're like, what is happening?
Right.
Like, this is not like, this is not
normal.
This is not normal, but the sounds were cool. And he like mixed a lot of his, mainstream songs, and I was like, oh, this is definitely more the like Ibiza vibe,
right?
But you can tell that's what's becoming popular because they're the pop, like Hakkasan Group goes after like the pop EDM DJs with like the big face titles,
right? Yeah, I think that's and that's where we come back to the subject of trance isn't just this hoity-toity music, dude. That's just what I mean. Sugar-coated rainbows and butterflies. You know what I mean? Like there's some grimy beats, dude, in trance. I mean, just, talking about just DJs that have basically overplayed. I went to Jewel a couple years back to see Seven Lions. And it was, I mean, honestly, just being a raver was kind of like, it was hard for me a little bit being in the industry because it's so out of my realm because I know what I want and I know what I see in a rave and then I know what I get at a club.
It's 2 different things.
It's like a culture vulture thing to me. Like you're raping the culture of the rave scene with the clubs and you're producing something else based on the music that it's hard for me to agree with because you know what I mean? I like the back to the family element idea of, what I mean? This is like a culture and a scene that we share. And then we have, we have clubs that are, basically exploiting it for everything they can, like a cash cow, and they're milking it for every drop that it has. So I went to go see Seven Lions because I mean, it's just,
I'll give it a shot.
Dude, I love Seven Lions. You know what I mean? So, and I figured he would play his normal music because it's, you know what I mean? It's dubstep, it's melodic dubstep. So, but he still played his normal shit. But after that 2 hours hit, dude, he completely shifted gears, dude, straight into the side trance, dude. I was like, this is insane, dude, right now. It was so good, dude.
It's funny to see when DJs do that inside the club and to see the reaction of like tourist people and they've never heard it before. Some of them love it even more. And then some people stand there and they're like,
they do the pause.
And they're like, look around and it's like, wait, what is happening?
Yeah, that's right. It's all these beeps and boops.
Yeah. Totally. I need lyrics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really hope that trance doesn't make it to the clubs for selfish purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't want the residencies to come down. That would affect you guys a lot as well because it would cut off bunch of people that I'm sure you're trying to go after.
That's the only portion that that's kind of stressful out. Like it's like a bittersweet thing. Like you want to see the health of the scene and you want to see the music grow, but you want to see it grow in a healthy manner. Not get exploited for everything that it, you know what I mean, for that it's worth.
Yeah, that's like getting a residency at the club in Vegas is like you made it as a DJ kind of thing. Right. You're officially now popular, and now they're gonna market you and monetize you in any way, any way.
And I feel like Marquee does that a lot with their. I'm happy to be out of the industry now, where I can speak my mind, because when I was in it, obviously I was under the. I was under the restraint of, you know what I mean? I don't want to lose my job, but so.
Yeah, you're a host, so you weren't protected by union.
Right, exactly. Union. Yeah, they'd be like, listen, we thought about it and you're fired. We heard what you've been saying.
I got the union backing. I'm good.
Right. Yeah, dude, I know. Thank God. Everybody at Excess has that too, which is great. But yeah, Marquee does that too. Like they had like Dash Berlin and, Andrew Rael and stuff like that, and you know what I mean. Those are obviously, or were obviously, trance DJs. But even now when they play there, I mean, dude, it's definitely not trance.
Yeah, it's house music because a lot of people don't spend during that kind of music.
Right,
Like
exactly.
like Armin, when he comes to Omnia, he plays for 3 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually a long set.
Yeah, it is. He plays like 1 to 4 typically, or he'll do like 12:30 to 3:30, and with
Sure.
the typical hours too. But I think they do that purposely. I don't know for sure. I'm just speaking out of my ass right now of kind of just my observations over the last 5 years.
Sure.
I think they do that because people don't typically drink during their
absolutely.
set.
You're not-
There's a lot of tables who come in and they'll spend whatever their minimum is, and they just won't even really drink.
Right. They don't.
They just
overdo
want it for the space typically. They
don't go over at
Yeah,
all.
not many people really go over during when Armin's
Right.
there, and so I think they do that purposely so that people will stay there longer.
Oh, absolutely.
In the chance that they do spend over.
Nobody's popping bottles to
Yeah,
to trance music. Yeah.
All they drink is OJ.
Exactly.
I just
Yeah.
throw out 3 OJs out there. I'm like, all right,
Can we get like 16 OJs? Oh yeah, and some water.
like $1,000 in water.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel a little dehydrated over here.
Yeah, so but he plays strictly trance mostly, and he's the popular version, so
Right.
it's not like the more in-depth like oddball kind of variations of trance.
Right. It's he plays the poppy trance.
Yeah, what's it called, trounce or some shit.
Oh,
like
Trouse.
Trouse, yeah.
Trouse, yeah, the house and trance mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I could definitely see that. He's definitely gone more toward that side, but I mean I don't know, dude is like the godfather of trance. So trance itself would not be where it's at without Armin pushing it like he does.
Yeah. What do you think? Did you see the thing of Tiesto? I think it was like a few months ago, was talking about going back to trance.
Dude, oh my God, dude. I mean, if there was a year it would happen, it'd be 2020. Everything else is blowing my mind this far, dude. I mean, if he wants to come in with some good news, dude, I'm open for it.
Yeah, Tiesto was like the original trance guy. He was doing it like the same time as Armin, and then he switched over to house, and a lot of people called him a sellout because that was popular at the time.
I don't know if you're familiar with Goriella.
Yeah.
Do you know Tiesto was originally part of Goriella with Ferry?
I did not know that.
Yeah, and then he dropped out, and Ferry continued it on. So
The OGs in the scene.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it'd be really neat for him to come back. I mean,
Are there any big names that you are trying to gun for that you can speak on?
that's a tough one. I'm under quite a few NDAs.
Yeah, no worries. No
yeah,
worries. That's fine.
are there? Yeah. Are there? Yeah, for sure. There's some really prestigious names that that were supposed to be here this year. Stuff that is honestly going to change the Vegas music scene even further than we have already. At this point, it's hopefully 2021.
Has dealing with, now that you're not a fan and you're on the other side, you're on the business side, although you're still a fan at heart, like you said, you go around and shake people's hands, talk, be interactive with the community. Has your view on the entire scene kind of changed now that you have to deal with the political side and the agents and a lot of the business dealings, or is it less political than everyone makes it seem and appear?
No, it is probably more political than people could ever imagine. It's frustrating at times. It's the political side does pose challenges of who you can get, competing for dates, stuff like that. I do find that even like the trance DJs themselves and their agents often emulate the trance vibes though. Like they're like trance agents are some of the easiest to deal with out there. Like a lot of them are good, wholesome guys that they're there for the music also, which is nice. So other than that, I mean, really there's a lot of, every once in a while we run into radius issues.
That has to do with the residency contracts, correct?
Residencies. We get hit with radiuses from Insomniac every once in a while. Just I don't know. It's just the way it is. It's kind of just the politics that you have to play to do it. You know what I mean? I'm just happy that there's enough artists out there that you can try to do your best to work around it.
Interesting. I didn't know that EDC had radius contracts. For some reason, it makes sense, but for some reason, I always thought like clubs was like the say all be all in terms of residencies.
Right. So yeah, it's supposed to be 3 months before and after, but I mean, we get hit with festivals in California also though.
Oh wow, yeah, Coachella I know has big ones.
Yeah, there's yeah. So but what you can do, you can actually ask them. You can request for them to waive it, because the radius is it's just standard procedure in contracts. Basically, most of us put it in there. I mean, we put it in there. Obviously, we don't put it in there quite. Our radius isn't quite as big, but you know what I mean? So, but it's just a standard procedure. So you can always reach out to the agent or have the agent, ask, whoever we're, you know what I mean? Whoever we want to grab if we can make it happen. And sometimes they're willing to work with you.
It makes sense. It would only be beneficial to the company, if it's a rising artist,
right.
The more exposure that they get, especially in a nearby area, if they're going to be there again, then that set's probably going to be more flowed. Therefore, the company makes more money.
Right.
So it's just a bunch of different things that you have to.
There's definitely, yeah. Like if you were going to get, they're obviously going to be more willing to give you somebody that, I don't know, like the draw is there, but it's not like, the main headliner, like, you know what I mean? Like they're not going to hand over Armin. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're not going to be like, yeah, it's cool. You know what I mean? It's most definitely not cool.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Is there, how do I want to put this? Is there any new venues that you're looking at outside of the Strip or?
Yeah. We're working pretty closely with a few venues right now. One, two. There's two that I'm not going to talk about. But there are some cool ones downtown that are opening. Corner Bar Management's opening up quite a few new venues downtown.
That's exciting. Yeah, because most of your shows were like at like bars, kind of, right? Like bars or taverns.
We were working out of a warehouse for the most part.
Oh, really?
Were working out of a warehouse called CMXX.
Okay.
And
I've seen the name.
Yeah, and we'd kind of scale it to however the size was. Like our satellite series was there, and then all of our basically since last maybe May. And then the pool party.
Okay, I stand corrected then.
Yeah, yeah. We as soon as we moved over, yeah, because we were doing bar shows, but then we realized that everything started to grow really quickly. And then we kind of like outgrew it. So that's a good thing.
That is really good.
It's more work, but but the reward is better.
I want to come to your event and I want to bring a dope totem.
Bring whatever you want, bro.
Have you had a 1,000-person event yet?
No, we have not broke 1,000, not quite yet. We've gotten close. We do, when it comes down to trance, we share a lot of our people with LA, our scene. Because obviously we've gone out there forever for all of our trance needs. So it's kind of still the same way. You know what I mean? Okay. Like I think for this last show that we did, the sequence series, I feel like we could have broke 1,000. I feel like we were definitely right there. But Giuseppe, Ottaviani and, Craig Connolly were the same night. I was like, oh, damn it. Yeah. I mean, cause
you have to be aware of like what's going on. Sometimes you miss it.
Yeah.
It's tough. That's like when I was in college and we used to plan fraternity parties. I always had to like look around and be like, oh, right. The bigger fraternity is throwing a party this day. Like make sure it's not that day at all.
Yeah. Cause it's I mean, competing is we try not to do that. I mean, out of, you know what I mean, respect for everybody else and ourselves. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Do you do that the same with local companies that aren't even trance?
Yeah, we try to give, we communicate pretty well with most other promoters in town and try to figure out schedules. You know what I mean? Obviously, we don't ask like who they have and what it is, but you know, just we try to
just gauge
try
like
to give
the
everybody
size.
the same amount of room. You know what I mean? So we can all kind of prosper here.
Yeah, it makes sense because let's be honest, the Vegas scene, people just want to fucking party for the the most part. But the more people that you're out, then eventually their taste will change over time.
Totally.
And then they'll start to experience new things.
Totally. So that's kind of why we're hoping to shift into the 18 plus, so we can start getting, you know what I mean, into that crowd, and then obviously they bring their friends, and then it expounds from there. Because I feel like that's the main demographic that goes out. I mean, dude, you have the energy to just go. You know what I mean? Like, when I went out last weekend, I mean, I might as well go out this weekend too. You know what I mean? But now, I mean, I'm about to be 30, and I'm like, I don't know about that. It sounds great until like 8 o'clock hits, and I'm like,
yeah, it's like I was just talking with one of my friends the other day about going to 3-day festivals, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know if I'd be able to do that anymore.
All 3 days. I was like, oh man, yeah, dude, it's rough.
When I went to E4, so it was 5. This festival is 4 days, and you have day 0 camping, so it was 5 camping for 5 days, and I was like, how did I survive that?
Yeah, I went to this last year. I trudged it out pretty good. I went to ABGT 350 in Prague, and then the next day I went to Transmission. And then I went to the Injuna Deep Open Air, and that was that. So that was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I took Monday, Tuesday off, and then I went to ADE Amsterdam Dance Event from Wednesday to Sunday.
God,
it was a marathon. And then we were gonna go to Escape, dude, when we got back, but right when we landed, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Let's go.
What's the trance scene out in Europe like? Because I know that's the dominant genre out there.
Yeah, it's insanity between techno and trance. It's crazy.
Yeah, most of the clubs there, they play just tech and trance. Like you don't see Tiesto and Martin Garrix in them. Actually,
Martin Garrix is from, dude. He's like an icon in Amsterdam himself, because he's from there. So, and he's like their guy.
They're like hometown hero.
Dude, yeah. Like there's signs, like for ADE when I was out there, like there's signs with his face on it. It's like, welcome home, welcome home. I'm like, okay, cool. I guess. Yeah, sure.
So when you went to the shows, what were the differences there from America as far as the show itself and the community?
I guess it's kind of similar. It depends on whose show you're going to, but I feel like we've adopted, at least when it comes to like trance shows and techno shows, we've adopted a lot of what they do and brought it over here, obviously, because they were the pioneers of all of this. So it's pretty similar, I would say.
They're just scaled out a lot bigger.
It's just massive in comparison. That's the thing. It's just insanely huge. So, I mean, they could probably hold, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, dude. They like, I don't even know how many trance festivals they have a year, like a ton though. I mean, you know what I mean? When you look at, Luminosity, you know what I mean? It's a 4-day trance beach festival.
Oh my God.
So that's just stuff like that, you know what I mean? We don't have.
Doesn't translate over here. We're all trap in house.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I'm hoping that one day we can kind of even out, you know what I mean? And get to a point where, these genres are just as big. So I think we're just like a decade behind.
It's funny because it's usually the other countries that are like a decade behind on music from America.
Right, exactly.
Right. Come over here.
Right, exactly, dude.
We want your community.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. So, so it's overall the health of the scene it's here though. I'm excited to see how everything kind of plays out after the coronavirus is kind of, dwindling, and we get back into, consistent events to see if like the people that were always on the fence of going out, if they go out because they've been stuck inside.
Yes, I've seen people tweet all the time. They're like, I'm never saying no to not going out again.
Exactly.
Or I'm never going to send I fell asleep and just woke up text.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because I feel like I'm guilty of it too. taking all the opportunities in the music that I never went to for granted. It's thinking that it would always be there when obviously it's not. You know what I mean? My headphones just aren't doing me justice anymore.
I'm tired of watching these virtual festivals.
Right,
they were fun. They're fun for a few weeks.
Yeah, they were great, you know, for a second. And then I realized I'm still in my living room. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of, it's grown stale. Do
you think the virtual festivals will still stay once everything opens back up?
I think that it might. I think that it's good for like downtime stuff. Like if, I don't know, if, you know what I mean, you're in between bookings and whatever, and there's other people that are in between bookings too, like, you know, because obviously everybody can do it from the comfort of their home. But I don't think that they'll be as prevalent.
Yeah, I just saw that Twitch started getting on a lot of the DJs, live streamers for music copyright infringement, and they're trying to like shut a lot of that down.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work.
So someone's going to have to like create a platform or something, or maybe Spotify comes in because they have music rights to everything.
I heard that people are going to move to Mixcloud. I don't know if you're familiar with that platform.
I listened to it.
So I heard they're going to try to. I guess they have free streaming over there. So. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're going to lose a lot of face by doing that to people right now, especially when, I mean, you and I might not be, you know, the most stoked on the virtual, you know, festival thing. But so, dude, there's some people like that's like what they do. You know what I mean? They can't wait to sit in their living room.
Yeah, because they don't like to go out. They're just couch potatoes.
Right. I know people that have decked out their whole living rooms, dude. Just dude, like lights and lasers, dude. I'm like, you buy that like over quarantine? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever you got to do, man, to get, you know, to immerse yourself out of like the normal daily shit that we're dealing with.
They said full send.
Exactly, dude. I'm like, how much did you spend on that?
Give it to corporate America to always come in and just break everything up.
I know, that's what I'm saying, dude. So yeah, it's honestly a little disappointing to see that happen. I'm not sure of all the legalities behind it, but it's I know that's like a staple for a lot of people, especially with you know what I mean? I hate to bring up like the possibility of a second wave of this shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because I don't want to jinx that, but you know what I mean? Just with it being, you know, it's possible. So
it's always possible.
Right. And then you know what I mean? You're taking away something that people really enjoy. So it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. I did see today, right before you came in, that there was a spike in Vegas of positive, but the hospitalizations are like way, way down.
Right.
So I think that's the more important stat.
Absolutely. Because as we, mind you, I'm not, you know, an epidemiologist or anything like that. So I know, please don't hate me. You know what I mean? I'm just seeing what I think here. Is that, I mean, obviously, as we grow in our testing capabilities, the positives they're gonna go up because we're testing, you know what I mean?
Testing more people.
Dude, yeah, way more. You know what I mean? I heard Arizona increased their testing capacity by 50% just over the last 2 weeks. So you know what I mean? I know it's scary to see the numbers go up, but as long as our hospitalizations aren't up, it gives me hope that, you know what I mean, we can continue without, you know what I mean, without too many people getting hurt.
Yeah, they're coming in. I did see too that the gaming board's considering making masks mandatory inside all the casinos, which I know it probably hurt revenue a little bit, but you have to have proper health procedures and you have to make people feel safe.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, at this point, you just really got to play the game until we get back to, you know what I mean, what we all consider normal.
I do have to say ravers have been a step ahead on the face mask game. We've been doing it for decades.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Dude, masks has been cool for, literally 20 years.
I was literally wearing one of my rave masks around when I like go to the bank and stuff, and it has like a skull face mask on it. I'm like, outside of this scenario, there's no way possible that I'd be allowed to walk into a bank with a face mask and a skull across it.
They'd be like, sir, you're scaring us.
Yeah. Like, are you trying to rob the place?
Nope. Just trying to stay safe.
Yeah.
It's not you, it's me.
Yeah. I was like, we've been way ahead of the game. And that was like the face mask that I'd worn to so many different festivals. I even think I wore it on Groove Cruise.
Right. Yeah. Groove Cruise is fun.
Yeah.
We were on there together, correct?
That's where we met.
That's right.
It's a little blurry at the time, but I do believe that we met when we docked the first day when we were walking from the boat to Ensenada.
That's
so there was like a Vinay party or something. And I think I just happened to stumble and start talking. It was like you and somebody else that you were with. I don't remember who though.
Grimy building dude that we partied in. Yeah, dude. It was Graves?
Graves, yeah.
Yes, dude. Yeah. That trip was
That also too, Groove Cruise opened my eyes up a lot to trance because there's a lot of trance music because Groove Cruise was the first like rave cruise.
Right. Yeah, dude. Yeah. They were the pioneers. I think I didn't realize that was the first year that they did that until recently, actually. But yeah, the theater was all trance, which was, looking back at it was, it was really cool. I wish that I remembered more of it.
I mean, the same boat, man. Same exact boat. No pun intended.
No, literally. Seriously, though.
I think a bunch of my friends were talking about trying to go next year because I just posted a video on my Twitter the other day. It was like a 2-minute compilation of that we had made like a few years ago. And I happened to stumble and do it, and it's the 2 minutes they can't see they can't see the world.
Sure, I'd actually be I was actually just talking about partaking again.
It's one of my favorite experiences, even outside of just like raving, just like the combination. It reminds me of like a college formal where like all the rooms on the cruise, I think it was like 9 floors is what the cruise was or whatever. All the rooms are decked out. And so it's like a giant party. So it's like you could turn off the raving and the partying and you could just walk down the hallways and find like a little room party.
Oh, totally, dude. It was crazy, man. I just remember getting up the next day, dude, and everybody was still awake. I'm like, you look terrible. I mean, so yeah, it was going back. I'm more confident going back to it because now I feel like I know what to expect a little bit. Last time I was the situation of being under the influence and not being able to find my friends because I don't have any service on my phone was you know what I mean, was a little trippy, dude. You know what I mean? By the end of it, you kind of understand that. Yeah, I don't know. You might just get lost, but
yeah, it's once you get. I learned that once you get out to international waters, it's fucking no man's land.
For real, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I can't even find my friends, dude.
It's a no man's land. And I think there's like the cool thing about Groove Cruise, and I think this mimics like Holy Ship and all these other rave cruises, is that the DJs literally stay on the ship. So they just walk around and there's just like all these like weird collabs of DJs playing that you would never fucking expect.
Right. It's honestly because they don't get off the ship. They're there with you the whole time. So you actually you do get a chance to interact with some of your favorite DJs if they happen to be on the ship.
Yeah, I ended up meeting this one dude. He was Sidney Sampson's agent. Ended up like hanging out with Sidney Sampson and him like for 2 days in a row.
That's actually super cool.
We what happened was, so when I was in college, one of our rush shirts was called Party with Jews. And so we wore that to EDC 2 years in a row. So fucking successful. Taking pictures with so many people that the next year we went to EDC and we made shirts called Rave with Jews. And so those were really successful. We're those to all different raves. And then once we went to Groove Cruise, we made shirts that was Cruise with Jews.
That's awesome. What a great theme.
Yeah. And so Sidney Sampson's manager ended up being Jewish. And so he was like, oh, I love these Israeli.
That's awesome.
I love these shirts. Where do I get one? We gave him one and we ended up like partying with them for fucking 2 days in a row.
Awesome,
yeah. So it was a really, really cool experience.
But a lot of, I would say that most agents are probably Jewish. Agents and managers. That's their.
Dude, Psytrance DJs are all Israelis.
Oh my god.
They have the niche on that.
Dude, it's their thing, man. They own that and they crush it. Yeah.
It's funny to see that there are different regions that dominate certain electronic music.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the Israelis have the Psytrance. Right. Obviously, the Australians have Melbourne, the Bounce.
Right.
A lot of the people from the Netherlands is like Big Room House, Tiesto, and Hardwell, and all them. I'm sure there's a few other ones that are in there as well. LA seems to have the trap game down.
Right. Totally. It is crazy. Yeah, dude. It's crazy to see. And it's true. It's true. And then yeah, dude. So I've always wondered what the difference is between a DJ that just absolutely gets just massive, dude, and then the other ones that just never even get that big, even though their music might actually be better.
It comes down to probably marketing, I would assume, but it depends on like who you're signed with, who's your agent, what kind of scale that they have. And I know some people who make really good music and they just don't really care, and they just want to be like ghost producers, which has its own cast within within the industry, as well as like ghost writers.
Right. Yeah. There's a few DJs that we booked that I can't name any names, but they claim to make quite a few of the tracks, dude, for most of the scene.
Yeah,
actually,
if you literally you could just go into Google and type in like ghost producer and any big name DJ, and you'll find a bunch of articles about them. You know, whether they're true or not.
Right. Totally.
People want to make their claims, you know, and they want to be trolls or whatever the case is. But I'm sure there's some truth into some of them as well.
I would not. I feel like at a certain point, that's I don't know. Yeah, when they get to a certain point, I feel like that's kind of where the music comes from.
It comes from the heart.
Yeah, it comes from the heart and somebody else's computer.
Yeah, there's two different things too, which I didn't learn in the beginning when I first started raving. I was like, oh, this is cool. They're making the music live, but you don't realize like the DJing is actually the easy part.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like being in the studio and producing all these like wonky beats and sounds that takes a lot of time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know I've looked at, you know what I mean? Some producers making their music, and I'm like, I have no idea how you even know what's on that screen, dude. It is just a bunch of colored squares.
Have you ever took a shot at DJing?
Yeah, I DJ. I open our shows every once in a while.
Really?
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. It's.
What do you spin?
I'll usually spin trance or techno. Yeah, it's cool. I enjoy being on the other side of it.
Do you go by Christian Jones?
Yep, Christian Jones. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I never wanted to adopt. I don't know. It's seeing as I'll never like pursue something like that. I didn't want to come out with some illustrious name, dude. Everybody's like, who's that? You know what I mean?
Did you do that out of just fun and passion and interest, or was it kind of a necessity? Like you had to build the stage where you just needed an opener to fill?
I guess it started out as I own the equipment, so why not? You know what I mean? It like after I bought everything, and you know what I mean, and then it came down to sound checks and like warming up the decks, and then, you know, figuring out, you know, because sometimes we'll hit, I don't know, like sometimes power situations aren't all that great at venues. Like you might have too much power, dude, going on one circuit, dude, and next thing you know, you pop it. Oof. And your whole stage dies, or half the stage dies. You know what I mean? So, dude, so like we'll spin for like an hour or 2 hours prior to the show and figure out if we're going to pop any breakers, dude, or anything like that. And then we'll figure out everything sounds good, and we'll walk in the sound, and yeah. So yeah, it kind of started out as that, and eventually it just worked into me actually just wanting to get up there and spin the music that I love.
I support that. When's the beats coming?
Dude, no, man, I'm hoping next month, dude, we can start back into doing something. I'm really hoping we can launch that new brand. Are
you open to? Obviously, there's going to be a capacity limit, so you're open to doing like let's say a 250 person event.
Yeah. So what we're going to try to do is basically use larger, spacious venues, and then keep them anywhere from like 20 to 30% capacity, so people, you know what I mean, can spread out. And we're going to enforce that people have to wear masks at our events. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to contribute to
the spread,
the negligence of, you know what I mean, of whatever that is. So we want to be able to do it as safely as possible. You know what I mean? While giving people, you know what I mean, somewhere to go.
All the listeners are thinking already 20 to 30% capacity sounds fucking amazing.
I don't know. I have room in here.
Maybe the 18-year-olds who just start festiving are like, man, this fucking sucks. There's no one here.
Right, I know.
Anyone over like 28, it's like, oh my God, this is heaven.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, exactly, dude. It's funny. It's funny how that changes, dude.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm just going to go hang out in my corner with my friends.
As you get older, you you get further and further from the stage, dude. You're like, eh.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever went into the VIP section was like 4 years ago at EDC. I walked in there and it's like the average age is like 40. I was like, what is this fucking retirement zone?
For real, dude.
But once you get older, you realize you're like, they just don't want to deal with the crowd.
No.
Because I would look at the crowd and I'd be like, dude, that looks awesome.
Right.
That looks fun.
Right. Yeah. I know, dude. I know. It's just, I mean, at this point, at this point, dude, it's really just for the bathrooms. I want to be in these other sections, dude, because dude, those toilets, dude, at festivals, I'm like, oh my God.
Terrifying.
To say the least, dude. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I see open up the door and then instantly close it and walk away. Dude, I'm like, okay, that's a no-go.
That's a no-go for me, sir.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm curious, we didn't touch on this. Who's your favorite DJ? Trance DJ?
Ooh. Oh, man.
I'll get here. I'll say top three.
Top three? Shoot. I mean, it changes. Right now.
He's like whoever's booked.
Yeah, right. Yeah, dude, seriously. Whoever's coming next is my favorite. Let me think. I like Solarstone a lot.
There can only be one.
There can be.
I'll throw out my favorite's Asterix.
Asterix is a phenomenal DJ.
I don't know what it is. It's just like he's really more into like the scythe than it is the trance. And
totally.
I like those. He does this a lot. I like those like interludes of like 2 or 3 minutes where the music's kind of slowed down and it's just like rambling of like really psychedelic out there thoughts that send me to like an existential crisis. I fucking love those moments.
Totally. It has the voice, then all of a sudden it pauses. Bump, bump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is. Yeah. I feel like my heart stopped and then like my soul just comes back out. I'm like, oh God, that was intense.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Yeah, that's one cool thing about psytrance. It has those, it has the beat, or it has the break and then the voice, and it takes you on this like journey and then tosses you right back into the shit. And you're like, fuck yeah, that was awesome. I feel great.
I love those. Trance does that, techno does that too. But trance is just faster beats.
Yeah,
so brings
dude,
you back to life.
You know, they say melodic technos for people who don't like trance.
I've never heard that.
Straight up, dude. Yeah, it's all you did was cut the BPM down. It's the same song. It's funny.
Interesting. Couldn't think of any more? It's all good. We'll throw Solarstone number one.
Solarstone is probably
right there on the pedestal.
He's up there, man.
Right on the pedestal. I really like Infected Mushroom.
Infected Mushroom's dope.
And if I had to do a third, it'd probably be Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura's
I'm just going
great.
I'm just going hard into the psytrance.
Dude, that's a great choice.
I do like myself. I do like Above and Beyond though. I'm not gonna lie.
Great.
I like that a lot. I usually go to them if I have the chance because I do like to get in the fields once in a while.
Right, of course. Yeah, no, Above and Beyond's great. They've really adopted the Trouse feel too. It's they have the Injuna trance feel.
So deep. I do have to tell everyone, if you have a significant other or you have a girl you're trying to talk to, take them to an Above and Beyond set. You'll have them locked. By the end. Dude, for real, you'll have them locked.
Literally,
no other music can lock them in like that.
It's fail proof.
It is, yeah. That's the go-to. I'm like, we should go see Above and Beyond's a girl that I just met like 10 minutes ago.
Right, dude.
I think I'm in rave love.
Yeah, dude. I keep trying to think of like more names, but it's so hard for me to like dial one in, dude, because I hate choosing. I'm like, no, I love you all, dude. You know what I mean? I hate choosing so much.
It's okay. We'll leave it at that. We'll save it for next time you come on.
Yeah, it sounds great.
I think this will be
next time. I'll prepare before I come in. I'll really go through my music and I'll check it out.
Fuck yeah! I think this would be good time to end this. I usually do 2 exit questions.
Cool.
The first one is the year is 2030. What does Elation look like?
If everything it goes as I hope it does, I'm hoping that we can work our way into like a boutique festival where we can do trance and techno. maybe like 5 to 6 stages.
That would be tight.
Yeah.
That'd be dope. Kind of like a Do Lab kind of vibe, like they do at Coachella. You been to Coachella?
I have not. That's one festival I've not been to yet. I've heard great things about that though.
Yeah, the Do Lab is like this one stage. It's like they do like techno and like off electronic jam bands kind of thing.
Right.
It's like a very interactive stage.
Sure.
Kind of.
That's cool.
That's kind of like there's like people who paint and they have like water guns
that stuff's
and all
cool.
kinds of different
totally.
shit like that, just to like bring people in.
Totally.
It's eye-catchy.
Dope.
And the last question is, what does Las Vegas mean to you?
Las Vegas, I mean, it's home for me. And I think that it has a lot of opportunity still to grow, and there's a lot of opportunity for me. And as I think that that's a tough question, actually. I don't know. I don't know.
It stumbles for some people.
It does. Yeah, it's hard. I think Las Vegas is it's a good place to be, man. I've lived all over this. I've lived in 7 other states, and I always end up back here. This is kind of home base for me. I think that it can be a lot for some people, and but if you're grounded and you kind of know about yourself and who you are, I think it's a good place to be to make some money and get ahead in life.
Yeah, I call it one of the greatest launch pads you can
Absolutely.
have.
If you're looking to get ahead and make some really fast money, in a lot of it, I think Las Vegas is the perfect way to go, as long as you don't get lost in the process.
Yeah,
which
it's tough.
We've all done.
Yeah,
I've been there.
100%, 100% been there. All right. So, is there any last announcements? Anything that I missed as far as Elation, and how can they get connected with you and the company?
You can check us out on our socials. Everything is at Elation_LV. And I guess just keep an eye out for our new brand that we're going to launch in the next couple of weeks. COVID willing.
Fuck yeah, I'm more than excited.
Fuck yeah, dude. Can't wait to have you out, bro.
Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm 100% going to be there. We're going to fucking live and die through the side trance.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Christian, for coming on,
Thanks for having
and
me,
we'll
brother.
catch everyone next time.